Hi you guys, welcome to Inspiration for All, where on this channel my goal is to help inspire others, especially melanated women who are on their spiritual path to win in everyday life. So if that's something that you're interested in, please consider subscribing to my channel and become part of the Winspo fam. Don't forget to click that little notification bell, and please make sure you have your notifications set so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So as you guys seen in the thumbnail of this video, I'm going to be discussing how melanated women don't lack self-confidence. However, we do lack self-awareness. Now, before I go on, I know that this topic is going to be sensitive to others, and I know that no matter how well information is presented, some people are just not going to take it well, and that's fine. But I'm going to say what I need to say, and that's on period. Period! What? And although I do feel like there is a level of respect when conveying information, some people are going to take what I'm saying, they're going to take it the wrong way, and that's fine. But I would want for you guys, and my hope and my desire is for you to listen from an objective standpoint instead of selectively listening to the things that you don't like to hear. So if I'm able to reach one person who benefits from this video, then it was worth it. So what do I mean by melanated women have self-confidence but not self-awareness? This is what I mean when I say this. Self-confidence is saying to yourself, I accept myself for who I am, and that's that.
I'm confident, yeah, and yeah, that's right, yeah. I got my tummy all in my tights, and I don't give a damn. No, I don't give a damn.
Self-awareness is saying, I accept myself for who I am, and I love myself for who I am, yet I know that there are things that I need to change. When you become aware, fully aware of yourself, you are not only confident, but you are aware of the things that you need to change about yourself. You are aware that there are things about you that can improve. That's the difference. Statistics show that in comparison to white women, black women are more self-confident. Even though we are statistically more obese than white women, we still have more confidence. Part of the reason why I understand the lack of self-awareness in our community is because thick is widely acceptable. You know, I am from the South. I'm from Mississippi. And in my state, we are considered some of the most obese people in the United States. And growing up in the South with thick culture, I can understand why it's more widely acceptable for a woman in our culture to be thick. And also our cultural dynamic with Big Mama, you know, as our matriarch, it forces us on a subconscious level, it forces us to look at obesity in a different light than other races of people. So I understand the cultural dynamic of women, especially dark-skinned black women, being big and allowing that to be acceptable because it was an acceptable part of our culture. However, when you look at movies like Soul Food, and when Big Mama had to go into the hospital, what was the reason for that? So while the movie was centered around family and food, we have to be cognizant of the types of foods that was at that table. Fried chicken, fried foods and vegetable oil, a whole bunch of carbs on the table, sweet tea, all of these things that causes ailments in our bodies. Now, I know people are gonna say, well, we were eating those things, you know, for years and years and years. My grandmother ate that stuff and she was fine. She lived to be 80 or 90. Here's the thing. We're not living in those times anymore. We're not preparing foods the same way our ancestors used to. So kill that noise. And because foods aren't being prepared the same way, we're not getting the same results as our ancestors who lived to be 80 and 90 years old. That's the reality. And that's where self-awareness will come into play. And in addition to our cultural acceptance of big mama and, big girls in our communities, we have these images and these movies like Soul Food and other movies that portray black women in this light where it's culturally acceptable for us to be big. The deep-seated issue that we don't discuss in our community, especially dark-skinned, melanated women. And it is the fact that we hold on to a lot of emotional burdens. We are seen as the least desirable. Our imagery hasn't been portrayed in the best light as dark-skinned women. You see it all in the movies. We get passed over for the lighter-skinned woman. A lot of our imagery is tied up into colorism. So the darker you are as a woman, the less value you hold in our community. Colorism is the real thing. And so, with that being said, feeling neglected by your community, feeling abandoned by your community, and also dealing with other issues like rape and molestation, we tend to try to find comfort in other ways. And for the most part, a lot of us use food as comfort. Fat is a protection mechanism. You need a certain amount of fat around your organs for you to stay healthy. But what happens when you have too much fat? Psychologically and subconsciously, having more fat on you is a sign of overprotection. We have to get to the root cause of why women, melanated women in particular, want to feel overprotected. Why? Some of us have been raped. Some of us have been molested. We feel neglected. We feel abandoned. And when we don't have the protection of our own community, we look to compensate that protection through any means. So subconsciously, we use the barrier of food as a mechanism of overprotecting ourselves. And so food no longer becomes a fuel for nutrition. Food becomes the avenue in which we stuff our emotions. And I want to say that with this fat acceptance and body positivity movement, I want to respectfully say there is nothing positive about a body that is obese. I'm going to say that again. There is nothing positive about a body that is obese. Do not listen to these people who want you to accept fat or to accept being obese as a part of your life. They do not have your best interest at heart. They do not care about you. They do not love you. Because to accept fat, to accept being fat and to accept being obese is to say, I accept disease. I welcome disease into my life. That is not healthy for you as a woman, especially a melanated woman. So I want to be honest as I can with you, because I think that this has gone too far. And especially in a climate that we have now where obesity is linked to so many different ailments, especially what we're dealing with right now. We cannot afford to have this movement continue without it being derailed by hardcore truth and sometimes brutal honesty. Let's just keep it real. Now, before I continue, I want to say that it is a beautiful thing to accept ourselves, but let's be realistic. I want to be realistic. Let's look at some of the top women who have been in the industry, who are considered obese, who have made the changes. Look at Gabrielle Sidibe, Monique, look at Lizzo. Self-confident big girls. All of them had to admit to themselves at some point that obesity was not conducive for them. Obesity is not working for them. All had to look at themselves with self-awareness. Even though they were confident, they had to look at themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm a big girl, I'm okay with that, but I need to lose some weight. So I have some tips to those of you who want to become more self-aware and to make the positive changes in your life for the better. So tip number 1, get your hormones checked. Well, contrary to what people may think, it's really difficult to lose weight if your hormones are out of balance. If your hormones are out of balance, it's going to be very difficult for you to lose weight. I would highly suggest that you first go to your doctor and get your hormones checked. Tip number 2, take a vitamin D supplement. Yes, a vitamin D supplement. Dr. Ken Berry has a wonderful video on the link between vitamin D and weight loss. You guys, please check this video out. I highly recommend it. FYI, did you know that melanated people produce less vitamin D? And the reason for that is our melanin protects us from the UV sun rays when we are out in the sun. So for us, we need to be out in the sun more, but because of our lifestyles, because of probably where we are in America, or if we're below the 33rd parallel, we don't get enough sun anyways. And the fact that we are melanated and we don't get enough sun, we are low in vitamin D. And to be low in vitamin D, that wrecks our immune system. I want to put this out as a disclaimer. Please consult your doctor before taking any supplement, okay? I'm going to tell you about 2 supplements that I take. One of them is Doctor's Best. If my camera will focus. This is 5,000 international units of vitamin D3. This is a supplement that I take every day. I take 20,000 IUs a day of this vitamin D. And I also take another vitamin D from a company called Develop. And these 2 vitamin D supplements are absolutely amazing. This vitamin D supplement I get from my local health food store. If you live near a Sprouts, they sell them here, and I will leave a link in the description box for these particular supplements because they are extremely potent. So you guys, I am taking vitamin D personally because I am deficient in vitamin D. I am not using vitamin D for the purposes of weight loss. However, I will say this, that since I have been taking these supplements, my appetite has decreased significantly. So for me, that's not a good thing for me because I was not trying to suppress my appetite or anything like that. So what I have had to do is I have actually, because I don't really have an appetite anymore, because I've been taking these supplements, I actually have to have a shake after every meal just so I can have a good calorie count or have calorie maintenance. So that's what's been going on with me. So I can attest that these supplements do work. Tip number 3. Consider going low carb or carnivore. Studies are proving every day and are showing great results for people who are going low carb. Weight loss and low carb just go hand in hand. When a carbohydrate goes into your mouth produces a chemical called amylase. And as soon as you start chewing that carb, it instantly turns into sugar. So you're eating sugar, you're digesting sugar, and then the body converts it into sugar. So carb is nothing but sugar. You have to look at carbohydrates as you would look at sugar. Low carb diet will be beneficial, and it shows and it's proven in studies that having a low carb diet will help aid in weight loss. So consider going low carb or carnivore.
If any of you are interested in the carnivore lifestyle, please consider following Eat Fox on the Black Carnivore YouTube channel. She has a lot of great information. Tell her Inspiration for All sent you.
Tip number 4, get some therapy. Therapy for the things that you have gone through, the things that you have not healed. It is so important for us to have mental and emotional stability as women. If you have gone through rape, if you have gone through molestation, or you have felt abandoned, all of those things, whether you may admit them or not, they're stored memories in your body. They're stored memories in your brain. And the more and more you get away from dealing with your issues and you just continue to stuff them with food, you're getting sicker, you're putting your body in a stressed situation, and it is not healthy for you. So please get help. I do offer sessions to women who are looking to have a more emotionally balanced life, especially when it comes to emotional eating. So consider booking a session with me. If you don't go through me, please, please, please get the help that you need. You deserve it. If you're interested in booking a spiritual consultation with me or a dream interpretation, I will leave my information in the description box below. Well, you guys, I am going to leave you for now, but I will be holding on to your love until the next video.